Hey everyone, I hope you're all doing good. I am Dr. Mahanur Amir and I am back after a long time. The reason I could not catch up or I could not make a video was that I had my Plab 2 exam coming up and I was completely down and drowned in prep, and that is why I was completely lost. So I had my Plab 2 exam on 22nd June this year and I just received my result a couple of days back, and luckily I passed that exam. So here I am today and I'm going to make a short video about the orientation of the exam and a basic overview of the exam and what exactly is Plab 2. Because Plab 2 is a very massive subject, so it can't be covered in a short video. So this is just going to be an overview of the exam and how to start preparing for this exam. So once you've cleared your Plab 1 exam, you can book your Plab 2 exam, and you need to clear your Plab 2 within 3 years of passing Plab 1. Initially, this time period was 2 years, but because of COVID and the backlog of seats, this has been extended by GMC to 3 years. So now you need to pass Plab 2 within 3 years of passing Plab 1. That is one thing. Now, before you book your Plab 2 exam, there are two important things that you need to keep in mind. Number one, because of COVID, the waiting list can be long. There has been a huge backlog of seats, and I remember in my case, I passed my Plab 1 exam in December last year, and the day I passed my exam, I booked my seat for Plab 2, and the earliest date that I got was 22nd June. So that is one important thing that you need to keep in mind, is that waiting lists can be long. I know it can be a bit annoying, but because of COVID, there has been backlog, and it is how it is, these days. So don't be too disappointed. Then secondly, you must book your Plab 2 exam in such a way that if you do decide to join an academy, then you must have at least 6 to 8 weeks after your academy session till your exam. That is very important, because there are some people who might misguide you that even 2 to 3 weeks is enough, but trust me, it's not enough. Because at the academy, they might give you an orientation of the exam, they will guide you generally about the exam, but they're not going to spoon feed you. You will not be spoon fed. You will be given a huge pile of notes that you will have to go through yourself. So give yourself 6 to 8 weeks after your academy session, if you do decide to join one, till the exam. That is very important, because it's a very expensive exam. It's costing you your time, your money, your effort. So don't mess up the preparation time. Don't mess that up. That's very important. Now, coming towards the main exam. So this exam is going to be held at Manchester. There's no exam center anywhere else in the world, not even in London. There's just one exam center, and that's in Manchester. So you will have to travel there, and in the exam you will be tested at 16 stations. Overall, the exam is going to have 18 stations, but 2 will be rest stations. So make sure to have plenty of rest and water and cookies and whatever you can find there, just have it. But the assessment stations will be 16 stations, and you will be tested over a period of 8 minutes, and 3 areas will be tested. That is your history taking skills, your interpersonal skills, in short, your IPS, and your management skills. And make sure you lay equal emphasis on all these 3 areas while you're preparing for this exam. Because a general pattern that I've observed these days is that histories are good because people are preparing very fondly of histories. But the IPS and the management, because I think the time management is the biggest issue. You will be given 8 minutes to complete a station. So if you do not reach the management, if you do not reach the diagnosis, and you do not reach the management, you do not reach the safety netting, the warning signs, everything, you will mess up that station. So management is equally important. So while you're preparing for that exam, you're reading notes or you're reading the GMC blueprint, whatever, remember to lay equal focus on the management. That is very important. And apart from this, there will be 2 different stations, different in the regular pattern. That is the prescription station and the SimMan station. Now the SimMan station is an acute station. It's going to be an emergency, like the cases you deal with at the A&E department at your hospital. So it's going to test your acute knowledge of medicine, and you will have to manage the patient as an emergency. The SimMan station is a bit different in the sense that in the SimMan station, the traditional pattern, like the history and the management along with the IPS, it's not the same pattern, because in the SimMan station, the management comes first. It's a matter of life and death, so you'll have to manage the patient first, and then you can follow with the history and your IPS alongside. But the management in the SimMan station comes first, and that is how the pattern of the station will be different. And then the prescription, that's again a huge subject, and many people are failing prescription these days, so I will make a separate video on prescriptions, but that's going to be one station. Remember that. So once you have booked this exam, how do you start preparing for it? And now comes the major question as to whether or not to join an academy, because that is one question that everybody has in their mind, and even I had it. But I personally joined one, and it did help me a whole lot, because I was completely clueless. I did not have any seniors, any friends here to guide me, help me, to give me access to notes. So the academy, it did make things a whole lot easier for me, and I joined it. But I completely understand that academies, they can be a bit expensive with the added expense of traveling to the UK, living here, supporting yourself here. So all of that, it can be an expensive deal and it can be unaffordable. So that's completely understandable. So if you do decide to join an academy, then that is very good. But if you do not want to join one, then there are certain things that you can do. Number one, once you've booked your exam, what you can do is that you can access the GMC website. You can access the GMC blueprint and you can see what exactly is expected of you in the exam. That might give you an overview of the exam. Then secondly, there are many notes that are available online. You can, get them free online, but the free ones are the outdated ones, but you can get the updated ones for a price, and you can access them online. These notes, I'm not trying to endorse any notes here, but these notes, they will not give you a good idea about the managements, because the managements that have been mentioned in them, they're pretty brief. So the managements are not very good in those notes, but the histories are fine. I've gone through those notes as well. The histories are fine, and you can learn about histories from those notes. And about the management, what you can do is that you can access the management of every case on the NHS website. If you access the NHS website, the managements are there, and you can just make your own notes, make a different pile of notes, and just read it. So for histories, you can access the online Plab 2 notes that are available, and for management, you can access the NHS website. That's what you can do. And for SimMan and for prescriptions, you can watch videos online, and you can ask somebody online, the different people who are available to help in different Facebook groups, WhatsApp groups. So you can contact them, and they might help you a lot. So that is one strategy that can be followed if you do not want to join an academy. That is one approach that can be done. And now coming towards one more important thing, and that is the study partners, because I think the main thing to pass this exam are your study partners. If they are good, you are good. If they're messing up, you will definitely mess up, because you're just copying them, you're just copying your study partners. So make sure that you have multiple study partners. If you are not joining an academy and if you're finding partners online, make sure that you practice with different people. Make sure that you do not stick to one definite approach that you are following. Try to follow different approaches. Try to have a very non-rigid approach while preparing for this exam, because you're not a robot in the exam, you're a human being. And try to practice with different people with different techniques. That is one thing that is important. You can find partners online in different groups. There are Facebook groups for this purpose. You can find them there. You can find them in your friend circle, you can find them in the academy. So the most important thing that will help you in this exam are your study partners. So please choose them wisely, and make sure that they're serious, they're punctual, and they're practicing with you every day. That's very important. Because I think practice and being fluent with your consultation, that is the trick to pass this exam. If you're fluent, you're confident, you're calm, you're composed, you will pass it. If you're panicky, you're messing up, you're forgetting things, and you're following one crammed pattern, you will mess up the station. So that is very important. And I think in a nutshell, I think that was it. I might make some separate videos on different topics of the exam, but briefly, that is all what Plab 2 is. And yeah, I think I've covered everything. So to all of you preparing, I wish you good luck, and if you have any questions, you can ask me. I would be more than happy to help. So all the best.